super film. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I need some advice about vacation, National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm going to be driving a 61 Chrysler from Chicago to Tucson in about a month. How about some advice of things not to do?
Use an ointment. Don't try to apply the brakes over the Sierra Nevadas. Where are you going from Tucson to?
From Chicago to Tucson. Almost like you did, only you went to Phoenix.
Right. Well, we went in circles in the movie. I would say keep your eyes open for Christy. She may be out there in that Ferrari, and it's a good trip.
And you may go Bruce Dern and middle-aged crazy when you see her too.
That's right.
Okay,
right.
Yeah. Do you,
and visit the House of Mud also.
The House of Mud, if we can find it. Right. Okay. Do you have many people go up to you and say there's a particular gag or an instant when they took a family vacation like that they could relate to?
I've had a lot of people say that they can just generally relate to trips with Dad in the car, either short hauls or long hauls. It seems that dads all over the world want their kids to have fun, and the kids are already a little bit more grown than they think and know how to have fun on their own, and the dads want to relive their own childhood experiences or make them better for themselves. I find being a dad, which I have been recently, I have a 6-month-old baby named Sydney, that I tend to relive my childhood a little bit through her eyes.
Are you enjoying fatherhood?
Oh yeah, I love it.
You do?
It's wonderful, yeah.
And I think, from what I've read about you and what I've been told, your dad.
Well, it influenced me tremendously because both my granddad taught my father and he taught me that, generally speaking, that a sense of humor is a sense of perspective, and that is the most important human quality, because obviously the more sense of humor you have, the more variety of choices and priorities in life. You know what's important and what isn't. And but I never ever entertained the career in acting or in being a comedian, as it were, and I never did stand-up comedy, but I did write a great deal, and that led me into performing. And I also clowned around all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And basically what I was doing on Saturday Night Live, or in many of the things I do in films, are just things I generally do at home.
Were you the college cut-up?
I was the college throwout.
Throwout?
No, I wasn't a college cut-up, but I certainly kept myself busy with extracurricular activities whenever I could.
Which is surprising. Some of those extracurricular activities took athletic skills, such as swimming and soccer. But a lot of people think of you as Stumblefoot. You know, but that's not quite true, is it?
You can't take a good fall without knowing how to do it. Or a lot of people fall down around me, and it's less now than it used to be. But I've seen a couple of buttes. I remember buying some furniture in a store once, and a couple walking by, and a guy took a fall. He was down for a long time. Knee was out and everything. I think they had to call a paramedic. And the funniest one that ever happened was when I was sitting in an outdoor restaurant, and a guy who was in a play in L.A. wanted me to know that he was in a play and to come down and see it. So he had a note, and he had a glass of water, and he's about 6'5", very tall, lanky, skinny guy. And he thought he'd trip and fall, and at the same time put the note on the table. He did the fall, which, as I say, you have to have a certain amount of experience in, and landed on the glass of water and took out a couple of teeth.
Oh boy!
And it was funny because he didn't really hurt himself. I don't know if you ever taken out your teeth. I've had mine been knocked out a few times, but just couldn't imagine him in that play every night for a couple of weeks ago.
Flipped over the teeth. Yeah. Wow.
So people tend to fall around me, but I think I learned how to do these falls that I did on Saturday Night Live most of the time, doing the National Lampoon's Lemmings show, and before that playing soccer.
Yeah. Well, and Saturday Night Live, incidentally, Dan Aykroyd said is one of the hardest shows to do as far as physical, and that's just what you're talking about.
It certainly it takes a lot out of you. Yeah.
You were quoted as saying, as far as your career is concerned, you just mentioned career, that sometime an actor is on top and then maybe the next year he's dumped completely. I don't know if exactly the way you said it. Are you concerned about the longevity of your career?
I don't think about it too much because I'm lucky enough to be working most of the time, and I don't have time to sit around and worry about the next project coming up. I worry about each project as it comes up and if it's going to be good or not, and of course I always hope that there'll be a big hit. But I don't think you can bother with that kind of thinking you might get too uptight. You wouldn't be loose enough to really perform.
Could affect your skill too.
Yeah.
As a comedian. You walked in the restaurant this morning. I was eating breakfast, and people just naturally laughed. You were looking for your family. I think they were lost.
They were laughing because they had kidnapped my family and had the ransom note on.
I was just wondering, is Chevy Chase ever serious? Is there ever a serious side?
Oh, sure. I'm not in the doldrums much. I'm pretty happy, and so's my wife Janie, and our daughter's very happy. We're very lucky and live happy lives. But one can't be up on all the time. There's the way you make your living, and then there's just living, basically.
And it seems to me that you're living it to the fullest and enjoying your new role as a father and looking forward to your own vacation.
Yeah. Sometime, yeah.
I enjoyed the film, Chevy, and
thank you.
I hope we get a chance to do this again. But what a backdrop.
Isn't it nice?
Oh, beautiful.
We had this painted earlier, and of course, those are my friends just walking back and forth in front of the flat.
But we're going to see it in this clip that you're going to
Yeah, we're going to show a clip where we make as much use of the Grand Canyon as we possibly can in the movie.
And you're a thief.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have that right now. Thank you
right
so
up.
much. Here's that clip.